Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. It's just a little, about 5 after 6, and so we'll call the meeting to order. Let's start by the invocation and pledge of allegiance. So I'll go ahead and open in prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you today for this opportunity to gather as a group of folks that are passionate about the future of Dorchester County as it applies to Parks and Recreation and the citizens of our county and surrounding counties. And Lord, just impart your wisdom on us. Forgive us of our shortcomings. Lord, keep us mindful of those that are less fortunate than we are. Thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon each of us, to include our families, and Lord, certainly our nation, but certainly Dorchester County. Lord, be with us as we go forward. May our words be pleasing to you, and we thank you for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the 15th of February meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review that? And if so, are there any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion to approve by Mr. Devney and a second by Mr. Tupper. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, say aye. 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 Are there any opposed? There are none. Thank you. It's a moment now for public comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to staff reports. Davis Bailey Park.
Good evening, everybody. So we've had a very busy couple of months since we met. It's been a couple of months, and we've had a lot going on. Davis Bailey Park is being well received by the community still. We've been in contact with the YMCA to see if they're interested in providing programming up there. Everything from adult sports to youth soccer to ultimate frisbee. So we're excited about those talks that are going on. They're ongoing. We're not quite sure what it's going to look like yet, but I think that the partnership makes sense. And there certainly is a lack of programming up in the St. George area right now. Being that our department is still in the infant stages, we don't quite have the manpower to move forward with that as a department. So perfect fit. YMCA is a pro at this. Hopefully we can start to see some people playing on those fields by fall, late summer. So we're excited about that. Speaking of Davis Bailey, and I don't want to jump around, but we had a play on Saturday out there, Treasure Island, by in collaboration with the Charleston Stage. From what I understand, it was a lot of fun. I was out there earlier in the day, but I couldn't stay for the play, unfortunately. We had about 30 to 40 people in attendance, so pretty well attended. The Dorchester County Library came out. They provided some story time stuff for the public, as well as we had yard games, bocce ball, all that fun stuff. Unfortunately, our barbecue food truck had to cancel on us at the last minute, but that was really the only the only hangup that we experienced out there. And we hope to continue providing that kind of stuff in the future. You know, we've been reached out to by people who want to provide like fit boot camps and that kind of stuff. So we're working through all the, not the complexities, but the minutia to get all that stuff up and running, hopefully by the end of the summer as well, as far as the boot camps. The Pine Trace Natural Area, we just met with ADC at the end of April. We've realized some, I don't want to say flaws in the current design master plan, but I think things that weren't realized until we opened up Ashley River Park and we saw the reception that it received from the public. Now that we've seen how much of a dire need there is for space like that in that area, we had to revisit Pine Trace. So we had to meet with them at the end of April, including providing office space for staff, additional parking, more restrooms, more shelters. It's become evident with the opening of Ashley River Park that that's what the public craves and it's what they need, and now's the time to make those changes. So they've gone back to their offices. They're going to provide us with something hopefully in the next 30 days as far as an updated design.
What has the reception been? I mean, are you getting this has been crazy busy?
Yeah, oh yeah. We opened up, and I'll go, since this PowerPoint kind of covers a couple of different facilities, we'll just dive right into it. Yeah, so we opened up, as you guys know, we had the VIP, they had the Celebrate on the Ashley on the Friday. The Saturday we were open to the public, and then the Sunday was the adventure race. So we're gonna do a little bit of an update for how that weekend went, how the next two subsequent events have gone, and just some numbers since it's been a couple of months since we've talked. Celebrate on the Ashley, roughly 200 attendees. We had $700 worth of folks from the public that wanted to attend as well. So we were excited to see that. Opening day, we had 1,656 day passes sold. So that's people that came into the park to pay $2 to come for the day. Opening day, we did 167 annual passes and 66 senior passes, and that's in one day. And then that Sunday, we had the Ashley River race. So we had about over 2,300 day passes sold, 196 annual passes, and 45 senior annual passes sold. So in just that Saturday and Sunday, we had over 4,000 people in that park. If I'm doing the math correctly, which that's not my strong suit. So you check behind me if you'd like. And then
And it was impressive what y'all did with limited staff and the run going on at the same time. So from our vantage point, we just really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It was going over really well, and I was looking around and I was like, okay, this is going too well, but we were so happy with the people that came out, the amount of reception we got from the public, and really, that weekend was some of the first days that a lot of our staff had really interacted with the public. I mean, we couldn't be happier with the way everybody came together on that weekend. And then our second event of our 3-event opening series was Explore on the Ashley. Happened on April 23rd. We had over 1,700 people come in and pay admission for the day, 44 annual passes and 12 senior passes sold. I should note that 1,760, it's a good representation of how many people were in the park that day, but it's going to be more than that because the annual passes that were sold, they allow people that are in their car as well. So that's something to think about. On that date, we vaccinated over 30 dogs with Dorchester paws during the event. And then Play on the Ashley, which was just this weekend. I think the threat of rain kind of held people out a little bit. It's starting to get a little hot, so doing these things in the middle of the day is, you start to kind of, you see a downturn in admission. So we had over 804 people there, 22 annual passes, 4 senior passes sold.
How are these things being advertised? I haven't seen anything. I mean, aside from being on this, I follow the yellow, I'm not seeing it anywhere.
So we advertised, well, the first event, we purposely didn't put it out there too much because we were still trying to feel out what kind of crowd we were going to invite out there. Well, the last thing we want is to look up and there's a wall of people and we don't have anywhere to put them and they have a really bad experience. So this last event, we felt comfortable to advertise. We bought space in the billboard that's on Dorchester and Bacon's Bridge. We bought advertising space on that. We pushed really, really hard on social media on all of our accounts. All the dogs that were going to Dorchester Paws brought some dogs out for adoption. And so all that week we were posting about, the dogs and trying to get people to come to help those dogs find their forever home.
Also email. So if anyone is on the email list, they
Oh,
get
yes.
email.
Thank you. Yeah. So everybody who has purchased an annual pass got an email blast as well, so that they know that their annual pass would get them in with presenting that pass and get them into the event. We want people to know that the pass doesn't just get you into the park, but also has other perks as well. And then we talked about the same day, again, not a big department. The same day we had also an event going on at Davis Bailey, Treasure Island. It was well attended. We advertised that through the same avenues minus the billboard, as well as the Dorchester Library's advertising it. And coming up June 4th, in collaboration with the Emergency Management Department, they're going to move their Hurricane Expo to the Ashley River Park, to the Ashley Event Pavilion. And it's going to be a bunch of stuff. They're going to unveil their Hurricane Seasonal Ale. I'm really jealous that the Parks Department didn't come up with this, but the Emergency Management Department partnered with Tradesman Brewery to raise awareness for hurricane prep, and they came out with hurricane a beer that is going to be served for purchase at this Hurricane Expo, as well as a lot of emergency managements, the fire department, EMS, having their trucks available for kids to walk around and enjoy, and many other tents and tables as well. So park revenue to date, we've made just under $250,000 in the 2 months that we've been open. Over 119 from annual pass membership, over 85,000 from day pass. The rentals are exploding right now. Screen porch, as you can see, $7,400. Cypress and Palmetto picnic shelters, by far the most popular.
And then that Davis Bailey, that's since it's been opened?
Yes.
Hey, Austin.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, I've had a couple of comments on this, and I have not verified it, but I've had several friends reach out about renting the shelters, the Cypress and whatever. Is there anything on the website that delineates which shelter is which? Because they asked me that. Like, I don't see which shelter is which, and I want to be able to go on this one. Do we have a graphic that sort of labels this is a Cypress shelter and this is whatever the other one is?
Well, we could do a better job of it if you want a frank answer. We are still working on the website. We've also experienced that there's confusion because there's another Cypress shelter in the Charleston area. So we've We think maybe the cypress shelter should be the loblolly shelter, since those are the trees prevalent in the area as well. We do have a park map on the site, but still, people still do get confused. We're hoping to get up pictures, actual nice professionally done pictures of each shelter to try to get people a better idea of which one's located where.
Okay, great. I mean, because if we can just do that in some way so that they can figure it out online, whatever that is, I bet I've had 5 people call and ask me which one's which, and I was like, I don't know. So that is something they're certainly trying to figure out.
Yeah, we've run into that a little bit too. Part of that will probably be solved. We're currently in the process of working with a signage company for a comprehensive sign package for the whole park, including it's like a four-prong package. We've got rules and regs and fees, facility signage, nature trail and interpretive signs, and just general wayfinding, arrows pointing people on the road saying Park Pavilion or Ashley River Pavilion this way, observation dock this way, etc. We're going back and forth with the sign company. We want it to look unique, and so we're encouraging the sign company to really get creative. I look forward to getting something back from them tomorrow. They sent me an email right before I got here today, so hopefully that will help solve the problem, as well as continue to work on our website.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any questions about just a quick update of the events, the attendance?
I don't have a question, but if you have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to bring up at this meeting and talk with Jay about, but maybe he can hear me, maybe he can't. I'm just talking to a lot of people out there in my friend circles that have no idea about parks at all. And I guess I'm on this board because I helped run the campaign to get the money, so maybe they feel obligated to put me on this board. But since that campaign, I find that there's been not much public awareness. I mean, there's been some news articles, but with everything else going on in the world right now, those news articles are pretty much covered up. And I'm just finding that when I talk to people about the parks, nobody is knowing that they even exist, much less the events are there. And that's not a criticism of anything you guys do, because there's only so much you can do without a paid plan. I think this board should consider some sort of, let's look at the budget and see where we are with some of these things, but spending millions of dollars on parks is worthless if people don't know they're there. So at some point, you might want to look through the budget and some sort of a public awareness campaign to let people know that these parks are finished, that the events are happening. As a social media, I run a social media agency. I can tell you, putting up a Facebook post without putting money behind that post is a waste of your time. I don't know if you have any kind of money, but it's definitely something that we need to talk about and get with Jay about. I talk to very, very few people that know about the parks.
Okay.
It's sad.
Is that like around here in the central Somerville town
Yeah,
area?
no, I mean, among my friends, I would say I'm mostly hanging with people around downtown. They're my age, 40s, young kids. But even people in the surrounding areas around Charleston don't know it at all. And I can't say I run in every circle, but my circle downtown.
Yeah, on my side, like I live on 61, and know a lot of people over there, and
Yeah.
they drive Baconsbridge a lot, so they know about the Ashley River.
Yeah,
They go by it.
right, that would make sense if you're driving by it, but I think if you're down here, and unless you're seeing it, or unless you just happen to have caught a Post-Courier article at the same time the world's exploding, right? Like nobody's reading that. So I'm just saying, I think that there needs to be some sort of a public awareness campaign, because it's kind of like a waste of our time if you sit here and talk about parks and people don't know about them.
So does
I was just going to throw in that I believe one of the full-time positions that we're applying for is a special events coordinator. And so I think one of the responsibilities of that special events coordinator, once we actually have someone that's fully dedicated to the events going on at these parks, is going to be like advertising that'll be part of their mission to like, actually put in a budget for like how much money we should put in for these Facebook posts so that they actually get fully boosted. Finding other different resources for like reaching out the communities and whatnot. So I feel like that is something that we're going to tackle properly in the future once we get someone in that position.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think try to tackle it. I mean, if you look at the ROI of putting $1,000 behind a Facebook post, you're going to dramatically increase the numbers they're seeing here. It's going to pay for itself 10x.
So no, and thank you for that. So now, before the park was open, you kind of learn a facility the longer it's open. And opening weekend, we ran out of parking. Second weekend we opened, we ran out of parking. So whenever we started doing these events, we wanted to be very careful how many people we actually invite so that it's not a cluster and people have a bad time and they're waiting in line for a very long time. Now that we have a better idea of the identity of the park, things have cooled down a little bit, we feel way more comfortable to start to really put the park out there, put our message out there. As you guys know, we're being awarded an award tomorrow night with the Journal Scene Best Use of Public Funds, Ashley River Park. I believe you guys got invites. So, and we are working closely with our PIO to start continue to put, especially Ashley River Park out there. I think everyone agreed, and our event coordinator that we've been working with agreed that with 400 parking spots, if you've been in events long enough, you've really run into, it's not a good feeling to not be ready for the crowd that you're having, and we were just very careful to not put a bad taste in the mouth, but we feel much more comfortable to just open it up, really start to advertise it. Swan Drive, we met with Stantec out there a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. Like everything else, we have budgetary gaps. So they're gonna come up with, we landed on providing river access, but not to exceed the floodplain. And with the hopes that, because if you walk back there, if you walk a little bit further to the Ashley River, to where the actual Ashley River is, it is a gorgeous piece of property. It's quiet, it's serene. You wouldn't know that 17A is just right down a block away. So just to get the public access to it, we're gonna provide the parking lot, provide the access, with the hopes of providing actual dock, boardwalk space that leads to possibly a floating fishing pier so that people can actually get out there and fish on a elevated platform of some sort. So that's where we left that. We're still waiting on the revisions from Stantec.
Do you know if any, like when we did the kayak launch down Edward we were able to use some DNR monies for that. Are we able to do that with this spot as well?
The DNR money comes with stipulations as far as being open 24/7 to the public. Staff decided it's best to have this site gated just to try to minimize the amount of vandalism that can occur out there. That's something we talked about. I'm trying to remember where we.
Primarily because it's in a residential area.
Right.
That's what I thought.
The adjoining neighbors have some concerns.
Yeah.
Want to bring in the public all 24/7 around that site.
There were some USDA grants that we were looking at that did have some sort of river and waterways capabilities too. I can send that to you.
Yeah, if you would. Because like I said, if you can walk just a little bit further from where this plan is currently ending the river access to the actual Ashley, there's so much potential out there, more than just access for somebody to drag a kayak down a ramp. Really think that, providing fishing out there, providing a place for people to sit and enjoy nature would be a huge gem for the area. So the connector, Rosebrook, right? Rosebrook's being used real well. We're getting people, getting the mulch refreshed, had a couple of things with the playground that needed to be tended to. Rosebrook has fallen underneath the supervision of the managers at Ashley River Park. It just didn't make sense to have somebody running all over the place and then coming out just to poke there. So they've been training their staff to go open the gate, close the gate, clean the restrooms, check trash, that kind of stuff. So it should have more eyes on it than ever, having Ashley River right down the street. We're still working on the connector. Right now, it looks like our goal is to, so there's complexities in the connector. The tunnel is a really, really cool idea, but you run into issues with that. Obviously, it's right next to a river that floods. And the bridge over Bacon's Bridge, I think also is a really cool idea. But in order to make it ADA accessible, the switchbacks and the footprint over that is looking like it's going to be huge. Not only is it going to be huge, but it's looking like it's going to be more expensive than the tunnel. So I know we've gone back and forth with this a couple of times, but it's looking like the tunnel is more fiscally able to be achieved. Also, with the bridge over, it has to be a certain height to allow trucks to go under, and now you're talking about a pretty decent sized structure. We're hoping to get those two connected. Rosebrook connector and Pine Trace are really hot on our department's lists, our agenda to keep pushing forward and keep working towards. And Texas Community Park, we reached out to the community to see what they would like from us out there. And we're in the process of continuing to beautify it. We've scraped the baseball fields because it got overgrown a little bit. We're ordering brand new basketball backboards and rims to replace the ones that are out there right now. As well as a bunch of other, we're sealing the basketball court, just some stuff that housekeeping stuff that needs to be done out there. So if you guys, so some undeveloped properties that we are looking at, so right now you're looking at the Ashley Oak Brook area land acquisitions near Ashley River. This right here, of course, Ashley River Park. The Oak Brook Library facility is hopefully going to break ground here shortly. Whether it's a tunnel or an overpass would either come here, or there's been talks of up here. And then we've closed on the Limehouse properties, and we're pending on this little sliver, with the hope to get this property open to the public and connected to Ashley River Park, whether it be a tunnel or an overpass. And, if we start with just trails and some benches and some access to the river, and we build from there, that at least gets the public on the property. Oh,
Ish.
it's a couple of different parcels. 100.
Six parcels,
I think if you're including the Oak Brook Library, it's I want to say 120, or give or take, 50 or so. So you guys know the history. And Swamp Fox parcels, staff's trying to figure out what to do with those. They're across the river. Maybe do we incorporate our ropes course to use these parcels to incorporate the ropes course, which we are still working on. We speaking of the ropes course, we put out an RFP twice. We got one person that showed interest, and they didn't get to put in a proposal before the RFP closed. So we're gonna open it up again, reach back out to people, see when the timing was bad. So we're gonna see if we can't do it in a time where maybe people aren't as busy. We're gonna probably have to tweak it a little bit to make it more appealing, but we are working on that.
Anybody know who owns that triangle of property on the National River Park side? Right there?
Right here?
Right there. That kind of solves our, old-time rules.
I don't.
Does the Bratton family own it?
I was thinking it was,
Bill Bratton, his family owns that.
we talked about it one time, we did, but I can't remember. It's been a while.
I mean, I know he owns something along that river, but I don't know which piece.
So the project has established budget of $2 million, and right now, I think we'd be happy if it just, the initial designs had it connecting the two properties, and then some boardwalks and some other features to it. I think right now we'd be happy if we just can get the two properties connected, and then we can work from there to improve on them. Just some quick information about the Limehouse property. Here it is, 7842. But that's not including the Sliver or the Oak Brook Library. And that's 11 acres.
So that's pending, you're gonna get that.
we're supposed to close in the next couple of weeks. So you can add that in, that acreage.
11?
Yeah.
That's 89.
Whatever structure's on there, if it's still on there, you get it.
Oh, that's that one that's like the first property and.
It's not, go down the road, up in there, it's like, right down there.
Never heard that.
So just some notes. We're still waiting on information from the surveyor on some of this property. Just more GIS views. Pine Trace, you guys know well, 331 acres.
Were you able to find those disc golf?
No, I haven't yet, but I actually didn't reach out to Eric either. We'll find them. If they're there, we'll find them. So we're working, we're really working fast and hard to get this place, get Pine Trace up and running, start breaking ground. If anything, to give Ashley River a little bit of a break, because we had we had crazy high expectations. We knew the public was gonna just flock to Ashley River Park, but they, even with our high expectations, they blew our expectations out of the water. You know, after the first weekend, we immediately started hiring more people. We immediately started purchasing just more supplies that we didn't realize we needed. Our safe was too small. We needed a bigger, you know. So, good problem to have, yes.
So, do you have a date to anticipate the groundbreaking?
We still haven't received, from staff's recommendations, we still haven't received an updated conceptual plan. Once
You
that,
said in the next 30 days you'll get that.
hopefully,
And then right after that, break ground, after approval of that.
if it's once approved, then yes, we'll award it.
We gotta do actual design documents too.
Yeah, we'll have to award it to an engineer.
So groundbreaking, you're a year away.
It's a year away, but they expected, once groundbreaking starts, famous last words, construction should be 8 to 12 months, famous last words.
So also along those lines.
Yes, sir.
you said Staff recommendations, changes, time trace, what were those changes?
Well, Pine Trace, I don't know if you guys remember, it didn't have staff offices. They were expecting people from Ashley River Park to maintain a 300 acre park, and that's just not realistic. We only had two picnic shelters. That's not gonna be enough. You know, we upped that to 5. The maintenance building, as you can see, was up here, and the gatehouse is here. You really want the maintenance building to be inside the gatehouse so things could be secured and locked. That's been changed. To save money, we've decided to these are restrooms. To save money, we've decided to put the park offices, the restrooms, and the maintenance as one building, in order to cut down on cost of utilities and all that stuff. So that among the dog parks, we learned a lot from the dog parks. We need more power, we need more water than what was designed with Ashley River Park. You know, all the picnic shelters need to have power and water hookups, et cetera. And we increased the restrooms from the amount of stalls that were on the original design to what we believe is going to be needed. So we don't want to make the same mistakes that we made once. We want to learn from our mistakes, and that's what our attempt is. And every time we have to go back to the drawing board, it's another 60 days. Every time you ask them to update the conceptual designs. So
So the Ashley River Park picnic shelters don't have power?
they weren't designed with them. No, ma'am.
Can you retrofit?
We're working on it. So we talked about Swan Drive a little bit. In order to stay within budget plane, which means it gets you access to the Ashley River, but not all the way to the water at all times. But it's a start.
Did y'all ever work out the shade issue up at Davis Bailey? By the water?
So that's been flagged for next fiscal year.
We could have temporary,
Yes, we have plans in place for temporary shade, but as far as the brick and mortar structure, it kind of got pushed. Yeah.
so we're only 2 months away from the next fiscal year. But it'll be in next.
This is year, is
July.
July 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we'll hit that one hard.
So we'll have umbrellas up there with the shelter.
So the county closed on 125 acres. Some people call it the Audubon property, Edisto Lakes property. It's a couple of different names. We're hoping to get, it doesn't necessarily have access to the Edisto River, but the Audubon's greater tract of land does. And we're hoping to work with them to provide access to the river via trails. Six good-sized lakes are located on the property, 2 on the ones that the county purchased. We're not quite sure what recreational opportunities are going to look like out there yet, but things have been thrown around like camping, certainly trails, certainly fishing opportunities, docks. So that's an exciting piece of property.
Austin,
Yes, sir.
on the, where is Pine Bluff Road in relation to this? Is it this bottom piece?
Believe so. Wait,
That's Wire Road.
that's Wire. That's Wire right
Yep,
there.
That's Wire Road, right?
And then, yeah, that's Pine Bluff. Yep.
Okay, so it's the north side of Pine Bluff.
Yep, that's another name people have been calling it by too.
Because on the other side of the river, or the other side of Pine Bluff Road is a really nice,
I have a house there.
huh?
I will rent that house out to you if you want to come in.
Yeah, so when we first talked about this property, my husband and I were driving up the river, I said, oh, let's stop and look around that land. We were on the wrong side, and they cannot let us. I'm like, oh, we're looking for they're like, that's on the other side of the river.
At least didn't start shooting.
I
That
know.
is,
We're
that's
lucky.
true.
Out there, man, you never know.
Yep, so we're still in discussions with the Audubon for a land use agreement so that we can provide the larger tract of land, work together, provide some opportunities.
So that slide's showing what we still have. That's not expended, right?
I'd have to check with Rebecca on exactly.
Yeah, this wasn't part of the, was this part of the update? Tonight?
No.
We're using Rebecca's,
Yeah, I was using Rebecca's slide to show you some of the new properties and where we're at on them.
those numbers may have.
Sure. Do you guys have any questions?
Nothing other than, like that grant that has to do with trails. U.S. Department of Transportation sent down. They have about 1 billion allocated for the entire nation. And, Austin has an email. I sent him an email late last week, early this, I can't remember what it is. But I sent it to him and to the town, specifically to the Bike and Ped Committee about possibly using that. They've been talking to the COG for the greater Charleston area, but I've been trying to keep them focused on Dorchester County. And if they could utilize that money maybe for the connectors, that could offset some of that cost so that we could get these trails done so that we're not grandparents by the time these trails are done.
Yeah.
They work on the Eagle Timber, trail, or they build the flooding field. I'm not even on the council yet, and I keep calling me about the flooding. I'm like, I'm not there yet.
That would be a question for Public Works. But I can ask.
Any other questions? Thanks for that.
Yes, sir.
Did you cover special events and programming and so forth?
Yeah, we kind of jumped around a little bit.
And then what about the Friends of Dorchester?
We haven't got there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Do we have any operational updates? Or did you cover that as well?
Yeah, the PowerPoint that Rigel so nicely put together for me, we wanted to give you a status update on the attendance and the revenue, staffing, which Ashley River is looking good staff-wise. We really feel like our staff's hitting a stride. People are getting trained. Folks are getting days off, so it's good. Yeah.
How about, Bailey Davis, is that staff?
Yeah, we're still working on that, but we've brought 3 more people on this last week. So the opening of Ashley River Park was a full department effort. Every single person in the department was called, and we are now able to address some things in some of the other places.
Next item is the Friends of Dorchester County Parks. Some of us are here, unless there's anything else for Austin.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, Richard.
Hello. Lynn was not able to be here tonight, but she did write up this little report about the memorial program that we had going on. Kind of, I guess, figure out where the direction is going with that. I'll just read a little what she wrote here. She wrote some research. According to research and visitor feedback, memorials will continue a legacy of a loved one and promote positivity and calmness. It is found to be comforting and adds a personal touch to a highly visited area that is built for the community. It enhances a park setting and is considered a special place for visitors to reflect. Future generations of family or friends honored will continue to appreciate it. Trees symbolize life and are living legacies. Memorials can be used as funding to buy additional benches and offset the cost of trees. The majority of community parks allow for pet memorials as well, some type of enhancement other than trees or benches. All right. Since the opening of Davis Bailey Park and Ashley River Park, there is one memorial bench at Davis Bailey and one at Ashley River Park with one request pending. There is an honorarium bench at Ashley River Park with one request pending, and there is also one memorial tree at Ashley River Park. The benches are $1,500 and trees are $650, which include engravable plaques. The plaques are small in size and uniform in order not to interfere with the surroundings of the park. The installation of the plaques are provided by the Friends, this group, with the approval of the director, and will not interfere with the duties of the personnel there. The length of time for memorials is 10 years with replacement if damaged within that time. At the end of 10 years, donors can renew their donation to have bench and plaque for the original cost or discontinue their use. The bench or tree will then be offered to a new donor. There's a written record that is tracking donors and dates of the memorials. And so I think where we are now is there's a hold on the memorial program and kind of see what direction we want to go with that. I believe because of interference with maintenance, right? I have a.
So I couldn't find any sort of written And thank you, and I'm glad you brought that to our attention, because I couldn't find any sort of written memorial program policy. And until we figured out what that looked like, which I've been doing research, I'm familiar with memorial programs. I didn't want to stop the memorial program, but what I didn't want to do is just start willy-nilly placing names on things without some sort of plan or program in place. So we've done research, and we're hoping to bring I was hoping to bring it to you guys today, or to the friends today. It sounds like the program is, I know she said $1,500, so it sounds like some of my concerns were the donation wasn't covering the cost of the bench itself. So that meant the Park and Rec department, even though they're getting a bench, they're still needing to foot some of the bill. So that was one of my concerns. We didn't have in writing necessarily how long that person's name goes on the bench, so that was another concern. We didn't have any sort of stipulations of the size of the tree, or what trees are available, or when do we stop taking donations for memorials, so that the park isn't just everything has a name on it, because I don't know if we want it to turn into that either. So we needed to work together to figure out what the program actually looked like, so that, and then before we take anybody else's money, which is why I was asking to just put it on hold for a second, and then we can work together and get an actual program on paper, which it sounds like Lynn is working on, and it sounds like she's done a lot of legwork on.
Yeah. I wish there was I think a more specific program where
Sure.
it actually lists out, benches for how long, like all that stuff written out.
Yeah. And it's a great program for the parks. People get to memorialize or honor their loved one, and then the cost of the bench is covered. It's a win-win. The public gets more benches to sit on. People get to honor or memorialize their loved ones, friends, family, etc.
There used to be benches in, Rose Rock Park, one with Rose Rock's name, one with Willie Davis's name. Are they still around? Larry Hartman's got one there. Yeah, and Larry. Are they still out there?
I did not know that no. I thought we had Davis Bailey's, and then there's two at Ashley River.
When we opened Rose Rock version 1.0, those benches were installed. And they got very,
Yeah.
I'm talking about this big.
Not farther bigger than a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a brass plaque, like.
And are they tacked into the back of the bench?
Yes, they were on the, like they
Okay.
have like the bars, and they were in the middle of the top bar.
I mean, it was,
We'll have to look for that.
Huh?
We'll have to go over there and look for that.
They were donated or put in by Keep Dorchester County.
yeah, they were, that's right, because we had some money,
I was on board.
because those were recycled benches.
Yeah,
Yes, those were made out of recycled material. And that probably was 2011. 2011 is when I was done.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd like to use the opportunity of people, if they want to memorialize, if they want to say purchase a tree, well, we can start to mix that in with like Arbor Day or something, and so make an event out of it, have some sort of plan.
But I don't know, it's probably been considered, but along with, I like the tree idea, and I like the bench idea. I know I'm friends with too. I'm a fan of that. I believe we should have some structure to the idea. I think the way the program probably has a designate locations. Here's where the opportunities are in the park, bench, tree, bench, whatever it is. We don't have to have this huge map, because we can do it in segments, because we don't have to map it all out.
Right.
You know,
Right.
figure out maybe a great spot for be visible enough and, you know, accessible for installation. It's not a hassle for maintenance.
Right.
Somebody else will use it, whatever, but, yeah, I'm glad that you're doing some research on it, because there's a lot of passion on the group, as you well know.
Yeah.
You know, to make something, to do something.
Right.
Because I think if it were put out there, there would be an awful lot more interest. You know, and I hope that I'm sure your research on finds it's workable in pretty short order. Then maybe it's a quarterly event. Here's what we do. Here's what we have. Here's following things are being done. Plan far out ahead.
Yep.
Right.
So look forward to hearing that.
And,
At least a draft of what an idea might look like.
and I totally understand, you know, people have put in a lot of work, and I'm absolutely not trying to erase anybody's work. But I did have a concern that, you know, that the public was telling us where they wanted the bench to be and all that kind of stuff. So I think, you know, I think there just needs to be a little structure.
Planning for is good. But then, like you said, then everything's not just,
I mean, you don't want to drop a palm tree in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
I don't think that was ever the intent, but absent guidance, sure, it's happening.
Sure.
And then what? We're all in a good spot.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
It wants to be awesome if you call somebody and say we can't put a tree.
Yeah. And I was really trying to get something drafted by tonight, but the days got away from me for sure.
I'm sure that probably have something next week, right?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, Lynn probably wants to, like, move forward quicker than that, but
Yeah.
I know Lynn.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
I
let
think
me,
doing
I
it
think,
with a plan is better than just doing it.
I think the best way would probably me come up with a proposal and present it to the friends, and then you guys look at it, and you might like some things, you might not like other things, and then once we come to an agreement, we can present it to the Park and Rec Commission, and then it can be.
It was the first time, so,
Yeah.
you know, might do it right once.
Yep.
Make sure it's accurate, consistent.
Mhm.
So
Very good. Yeah.
then the parks, the friends group collectively, we could run out and say, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
This is what it's got to look like.
Everyone's on the same page.
And if somebody suggests something else, we say no.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
but we are what we, that's exciting.
I like that.
Look forward to seeing it, right?
Awesome.
That
That's great. Yeah. I think Lynn will appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Richard, for coming out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's-
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.
Is there any new business or anything else we can discuss? Right now, it's group. Looking for adjournment, we'll call it 5 or 7.
On that, on that.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor of adjournment?